everybody, it is Calxiyn here, and thank you for attending Calxiyn's Royal Court today, where we have gathered for my reaction and discussion for Dearest Family of Miraculous Ladybug Season 4, of course. I hope that you guys will enjoy the reaction and review that we have for today, but first, let me remind you all that to keep your invitation to Calxiyn's Royal Court, you must subscribe, of course. And you guys should also check out my Miraculous Ladybug theory videos. I think that they're popping off. I think that we're getting somewhere with those, so if you want to see me be right, you should definitely go ahead and check those out if you haven't already. And I think that after these two episodes, both Glaciator and Dearest Family, which I am watching today, I think we'll have a lot of theory material, so you're gonna want to stick around for that as well. But without further ado, let us commence. Wait, how did he get one of those? Anyway, I don't remember where he got that one. Was it from Atagami? But it couldn't have been. Could it? Oh shit! This is not good. Because now, like, that was kind of short-lived. Like, this idea that, you know, we would get new villains from now on because everyone was getting charms. Yeah, that's the thing. Is that not problematic? Like, you know what I mean? Because now, like, I thought the whole thing was that, oh, well, we don't need to worry about these characters getting akumatized again. Instead, now it's like, you know, back to square one. Yay! Oh! Look at them! Oh, that's nice! Uh-oh. Oh, that's cute! Oh no! Damn! Does she have to feed all of them? Like, constantly? Even if they don't use their powers? Because, like, they must be wondering, like, where the food bill's going, you know what I mean? Oh, damn! Sorry, Tikki! Marinette, just buy one, sis! Tikki's going crazy, bro! See, that's smart! Good! Okay, problem solved. Oh, well, that's cute. Oh, God. Whoa, okay. Unless she did. I mean, she definitely did, but anyway. Whoa, whoa, whoa! But they've been with her for thousands of years! Damn, bro, that's not good! Oh no! Bro, when did you become in charge? Waze must be like, bro, excuse me. Wait, what? Oh, damn, you tell him, Grandpa. Yeah, you entitled ass. Oh, damn. No, Tikki's gone, bro. Oh. Wait. A motorbike? A motorcycle? Oh, Marinette, I hope she gets to keep that. Yeah, but she's not 14 anymore. Her birthday, it's been a minute, you know? Or like a while. That is true. Ragazza means girl. Thank you. Thank you, years of being Italian. Oh boy! What does Mom think about it? Tikki! Oh boy! That is true! Well... Okay, but... What are you gonna do now? No! What is happening? That's not good. Oh, no! That's right, Queen. Uh-oh. Oh, is the Galette gonna akumatize them? Oh, upgrade. Well, that's not good. Damn! Oh, shit. Wait, but we never saw the mom's full transformation, right? Ooh, because, you know, it stopped before we got the chance. Yeah! Wow, the mom's costume is so cool. Oh my god, what face was that? Oh, damn, he paid someone off? Wow, Marinette. Well, I guess she's not in control right now, but that's kind of funny. Oh, damn. Oh. Tikki, jeez. Cat Noir. This may be bad. Oh, dear. Oh, god damn. Oh, she's kicking ass. Oh, no. You too, sir? When did you get this? Oh my god! No! That's not good! Oh my god! Bro, we're all gonna fucking die! Oh no, Tikki, why? Oh man, yeah, see? It's a new creation. Well, that's good. Reinforcing that Adrian is necessary. You know, Ladybug can't fix this one by herself. You know what I'm saying? Oh my god! Oh wow, look at Adrian's space costume. It looks so good. Oh my gosh, it's just been a minute since we've seen it, so... Oh my god. Is that not gonna cause, like, asteroids or something? Oh. Oh, well, that's nice. Damn, they were arguing that whole time? Jeez. A hint. Oh, poor Cat Noir this episode. Oh. Oh, they can tell? I can't tell. Big butterfly. Instead of little butterfly, it's big butterfly. Oh, that cracks me up for some reason. What's wrong with me? Oh, man. Anyway. Oh. Oh. Oh, they're so cute. Ooh, now what? Oh, new ones. Hopefully they're stronger. Oh. 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 Well, that's nice at least. Damn. Oh. Oh. Compromise. Oh. Well, that was nice too. That was a nice episode. Oh. Oh, his queen. Oh. Alternate reality. Oh, shit. That was a theory I had a long time ago. Oh, equivalent exchange, bro. That's gonna be a fun one to make a theory about. All right, everybody. Now let's go ahead and get into the discussion. I think that this is gonna be an interesting one just because there were so many questions that you guys had for me, and I think that I finally understand what's going on in this episode now that I've actually rewatched it again. So I think that this charm, at first I was like, where did this come from? How is he doing this? But then I realized that that's probably from Gabriel Agreste, which of course we haven't seen that yet, so that's not our fault, of course. But that was a little bit like confusing at first was how he got that charm and everything. That was a little bit weird, but now I understand. So he must have gotten that from the Gabriel Agreste episode where he purposefully akumatized himself. But we haven't seen that episode yet, therefore we did not know that, obviously. But in the meantime, right, as Gabriel is basically breaking apart Marinette's like last defenses against Hawkmoth, that's the other thing that I was thinking about. Like, you know, they invented this anti-akumatization charm, I'm assuming, to basically stop things from getting repetitive, or at least that's why I thought they were doing it, obviously, you know, like, I thought that they were trying to find a way so we didn't have, like, repeat villains anymore, but now, like, unless she, in the last, like, you know, couple episodes of this season is able to, like, refortify those charms, it does seem like that they're on their way out, judging by this episode, which is actually kind of sad. But anyway, in the meantime, we see some family bonding here, and I actually really like this, especially just because, you know, they've had their problems in their father-son relationship over the years. We heard about that. I think it was either last season or the season before that. I don't quite remember. But now they've made up, and they're both, like, making this, like, galette together, obviously. Now, a big question that you guys had was, like, why is Tikki like this? Like, why is Tikki doing this? Why is she acting so crazy all of a sudden? This seems really out of character for her. And I think that I kind of have like the explanation, right? And I'm not entirely sure if it was a specific line or what that reminded me anymore, but I think that basically the reason why this happens is because like Tikki's the Kwami of creation, right? Now I remember what it was. Plag said that this has not happened to Tikki since she discovered chocolate, or I guess since humans discovered it, and then she discovered that the humans discovered it, right? Like that was the whole process. And so I think that that's basically the clue as to why Tikki is acting so crazy, because Plag, you know, references, I guess, another human invention. So really for Tikki, it's like she's the Kwami of creation, and this is like a brand new creation, right? To her anyway. Obviously this has been around for a long time, but to her it is new, and that's why she starts to act crazy, because that's like her power, or her, I don't know, I don't want to say her like passion, but like her reason to be alive in a way, because Kwamis are concepts, right? Her reason to be alive is creation, and so now that she's found this like new creation, she can't stop thinking about it. And this episode also had some like weird kind of like, is this about addiction or something? Like, you know, the way that they were like, we'll get through it together, Tikki, you just need to have self-control. Like, I don't know if that was intentional, but like that was something that I was sort of thinking. I was like, is this kind of like a don't do drugs kids kind of messaging? I don't know. But anyway, that's like irrelevant. But I think that that is why Tikki is going crazy. Now, somebody did ask me a question like, okay, well, for Tikki, she'll go crazy over like the creation of new things, or at least sweets, right? But what about the other Kwamis? To that, I don't know. Like, I don't quite know how it would work with the other Kwamis, especially just because like Plag is the Kwami of destruction, right? So like, I don't think it would be an act of destruction per se, because I think with Tikki, it's like the combination of sweets, like her favorite food, and then the act of creation. So it would have to be like cheese. I feel like it would have to be like they've deconstructed the cheese. Like, I don't know, right? Because I guess like, you know, Tikki likes sweets, and then Plag likes cheese. And I think that the reason why Plag likes cheese is outside of the fact that he's like, do cats like cheese? Anyway, I don't know. But outside of that, right? Like, cheese is basically like moldy, right? Like, cheese is destruction. I know that that sounds so stupid, guys, okay, but like, cheese is destruction, you know? Like, cheese, it's, I don't want to say it decomposes. I don't know how cheese works, but cheese is like bacteria. It's like, you know, that deconstruction and that destruction sort of thing, right? I don't know anyway. But yeah, like, you know what I mean? So I think it would have to be like the most deconstructed cheese that Plag has ever seen. As for the other Kwamis, I honestly have no idea. I don't know. I just don't know how this would work. I don't know if the writers thought about how this would work, but I don't think they did. And so yeah, I don't think that I have a lot to say about Tikki going like completely like nutty though. I think that like it was interesting just to see like Marinette trying to get around it. But there was actually something interesting like with Tikki's behavior, I guess, that Tikki became very unlike herself. And that's why I thought like it was sort of a weird, like almost like addiction thing, because, you know, like people's personalities will change if they're going through something like that. And so that's what I was sort of thinking. It's like, you know, Tikki has to get her fix and she's becoming like irritated and agitated, like a withdrawal symptom. And I was just like, this is kind of dark, isn't it? And like, you see how her like behavior changes. Yeah, like look at her face right here. And I love what I think that is interesting about this episode, like going past all like the Galette like stuff downstairs with Marinette's family and everything. I think what's actually interesting is like, do you know Tikki? Do you know Tikki as well as you think that you do, right? And so like it seems like that Saz has sort of taken in control right here, and that actually plays into a theory I had, because Marinette would lose her memories if someone else were to be the guardian, but what if she just gives the box to Luca? You know what I mean? Like she doesn't need to give up guardianship of it. She can just give it to him, right? And so I sort of wonder, based on Saz's behavior here, I think it would be a pretty like credible theory to say that maybe Luca will become the guardian, and maybe like there could also be a way to stop the memory loss from happening as well. Like Marinette's already made anti-akumatization charms. Isn't that like kind of the same thing? I mean, it's not the same thing. I feel like it's in the realm of her capability at least. Like that's all that I'm trying to say, right? Or she could just give him the box and he could just babysit it, you know? Like it doesn't need to be so crazy, but that's what I'm sort of thinking, is that I wonder if they're basically like setting this up, like they're setting up Saz to kind of be in a position of control so they can like later give stuff to Luca, you know? Like give Luca the responsibility, especially because he already knows both Cat Noir and Ladybug's identity. I don't think that that's like a bad theory. And I think what's so funny in this episode is like the sheer abuse of power from Tikki here. Like maybe it's not that dramatic, but like look at how she looks at them so angrily. You know what I mean? Like she's just like threatening them basically, and I feel like that's because it's like, I'm Ladybug's Kwami, I can, you know, do whatever I want, right? And so I think that that's sort of funny, but Marinette's like really naive. She's just like, you know, let's go down one more time, you know, like she just goes with it, and they all know, and I think that's the funniest part, is they all know that like Tikki's like full of it, you know, and I love their facial expressions and like the chaos in this room. I think it's so funny. But see, this is the other thing with Saz, right? Is like, he lets them, he gives them permission to go out. And Waz is probably here like, who the fuck do you think you are? I was the Guardian's Kwami for years, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Saz must be like, giving me permission? Excuse fucking me? Like, you know what I mean? I think that that's so funny, but could that, like, again, give credence to this idea that Luca will get the box? I don't know. Anyway, I feel like that we can basically, like, go past most of this Galette, like, you know, foolery, I guess. Like, I feel like that we can, you know, go past all of that sort of stuff, just because, like, it's funny, but it's not, like, important. I guess it's important for, like, Tikki's behavior and characterization, but I don't have anything else to say other than she's literally, like, an addict in this episode. But I do love, oh my god, look at Grandpa, like, fighting the mayor. I think that that was actually pretty funny, was, like, Chloe's little cameo in this episode. I love how Grandpa just hits him with the baguette, and you hear Chloe in the background at one point being like utterly ridiculous. That was actually like pretty funny. I did like that. And then we see Grandma with a birthday present, and this was so perfect. And the reason why it was so perfect was because we literally like just came from an episode where Marinette drove a car, but now they're arguing about whether or not she's old enough to ride like a motorbike, you know? And so I just thought that that was like, oh, that was just so good. It's like, no, she's not young enough. Like, obviously, at the end, she kind of, like, rejects the present and says, like, oh, well, maybe when I'm older. But, like, sis, you drove a car. Like, what's the big deal? You know what I mean? So that aside, somebody asked me about the timeline. The timeline is totally messed up, guys. Like, I can't fix this for you, because somebody was like, how was Marinette's birthday a couple months ago? Like, this show's on season 4. I don't know. Okay, don't ask me, because I don't know the answer. I'm so sorry. But anyway, and so I just really loved how she just brought her granddaughter, again, a motorbike. But what's really interesting about this is I like how all of their behavior is reflected later on, when it's like, you know, Tom is focused on protecting Marinette, whereas obviously Marinette's mom is more like, I will give Marinette like the choice to do whatever she wants. Like, I liked how they showcased all their like ideology here, but then also as the villains. I mean, that's a pretty like basic thing, but I don't know, I just really liked, I guess, getting a like internal look at especially Marinette's mom, because we knew that the dad felt this way, but remember the mom's akumatization form is the form that she almost took like during the whole like Princess Justice Lila almost did the thing, Marinette almost got akumatized, like that whole episode, right? And so I think that it's actually like really interesting that now we got to see that full form. But yeah, I think that we should just again go past the argument because there's nothing much to say. I think that again, like, look at this. She's not a little girl. She can make her own choice. Let her decide whether or not, she wants the bike, but then the grandma's all for the bike. Obviously, the grandfather is arguing against it. And all the while, Marinette just like does not care. She does not care about this bike at all. She's way too focused on Tikki, right? And so I just love like their dialogue, I guess, because it's like, listen, like Marinette can make her own choice, so she can ride the bike. That's not what I said. I just think that that's like hilarious. But yeah, Marinette comes back up and she's like, Tikki's not acting normal, and everyone's just like, it's almost like we said that or something, right? Like everyone expected this to happen, right? Exactly, that's what they said. It's see, they said the munchies, and that's just such specific imagery anyway. But that's irrelevant. Again, I'm not trying to make this more than it is. I was just thinking about it. And it's interesting too to see that Tikki, like, she is able to almost control Marinette. Because when you think about it, like, okay, well, here's the weird thing about that though, right? Is that she controls Marinette to the point where Marinette be looking like this. But, like, you would think that Nuru or like Desu would be able to do the same thing. I guess it's just like Tikki's like heightened emotions, but this sort of had the implication that like, when you think about it, the miraculous holders are just borrowing the powers from the Kwamis, right? Like, they are putting the Kwamis in a usable form, right? To use their powers without causing problems. It's basically like taking the Kwamis and then kind of like putting them in, again, like something like the earrings and sort of like limiting their power to a safe, quantifiable, like, you know what I mean? A safe quantity, if that makes sense. And so basically what I'm getting at here is what's odd is that it seems like the Kwamis let humans like borrow like the powers like through the jewels, and it seems like that Tikki has a certain degree of control over Marinette and her behavior here. But why can't Desu and Nuru do the same thing to Hawkmoth? Is it because they're not in that heightened emotional state? Because this sort of implied to me that if they wanted to, they could control like Hawkmoth's behavior. Now, this could be because Marinette is still a kid, because that's something that's come up before, right? Obviously, like they've said that in previous episodes, I'm an adult, so I don't need to change back and forth and this and that, right? Like that was sort of the implication a while ago. And so they're not adults yet. And so maybe that's why Hawkmoth, isn't controlled. But I would like them to kind of like explore that, because I think that's sort of interesting to think about, is that in a way, like Marinette is just a vessel for Tikki. Like as much as the earrings are like Tikki's vessel, Marinette is also the vessel for Tikki. And that's kind of how it works with Plag as well. And I'm not saying they're like controlling them, because they don't usually. They give over control willingly, but it seems like they can take back control just as easily. So I guess that's my question. Like, I'm just wondering, like, it would be interesting if they could try to control Hawkmoth, right? But I don't know if that'll ever happen. And it could just be the adult thing, like I said, or they need to be in that heightened state also, like I said. But I don't know. It seems kind of strange. Like, it's just interesting when you think about it, because it's almost like, again, like the superheroes are really vessels for the Kwamis. And so if a Kwami ever had like an evil intention, it could like mind control or like body control you. And like, can a Kwami get akumatized is kind of another interesting question, like for that reason, right? And so I don't know, like that would kind of be an interesting thing to explore too. Now, the best part of this episode, in my personal opinion, was everything with Marinette's mom, because we never saw this form before, right? Because it never happened. Like the akumatization did not go through, and I feel like that was like awesome. Like, I love seeing her form, and I love how her akumatization, right, was basically driven by injustice. Like the same as Marinette. Like, Marinette was supposed to be Princess Justice, right? And then Marinette's mom, I think, has the same form as before. And so the reason why the mom got akumatized was because Marinette was suffering like an injustice when you think about it, right? And so I think that with that, right, Marinette is kind of like in her eyes anyway, suffering an injustice again because everybody wants to control her life. And so that's, I think, what's really at the crux of like the mom's like motivation in terms of like getting akumatized. It's like whenever Marinette faces any sort of injustice and she sees like, I guess, this like everybody trying to control her life, like that would be injustice for Marinette, right? And so see, Marinette, I won't let them control your life. It's almost like the principal. Like to some degree, yes, the principal needs to control the school, right? But I think that that's sort of like an interesting thing to think about is like, you know, in that scene, it was Marinette was being unjustly, I guess, like controlled or like coerced to admit to doing something that she didn't actually do, right? And like all of that sort of stuff. And here she's being like controlled and coerced by like the multiple family members into like, oh, like you gotta listen to me. No, you have to listen to me, right? Like pressuring may be the better word, right? That like one parent is pressuring, or I guess one grandparent's pressuring for her to take the bike, one's pressuring like for her to never like drive a car, you know, like stuff like that, right? And so I think that that's just sort of interesting is that that's when the mom basically pops up. Marinette has some demonic faces in this episode just because she has absolutely no control, and I think it's hilarious, like all the memes and the screenshots that have come out of this, right? And so I actually do like, I guess, the little, I don't want to say like segue, but like the little side thing, I guess you could say, of like Tikki like stealing everybody's galettes, making a giant galette, right? And so like I love this scene too because it's so like dramatic. It's like people aren't meant to see you. I'm sorry, Marinette, but I can't even control myself, because Tikki is usually the one that is a bit like strict on the rules, you know, as well. Like she's like Marinette, you can't do that. Like sometimes she's like, but Marinette, like you can't say that, you can't do that, right? Like that's not a good idea. But now it's like the role is reversed, right? And it's so like, you know, it was almost like heartbreaking, right? Because it was like, Tikki, like what the fuck? Like, you know, we've been together this long, right? And like, you know, I need you. Like, how can you do this to me? And you're the one that like, you know, cares about the rules all the time. But meanwhile, you're, you know, you're just in sight. You're using your powers publicly, right? And so a Kwami that uses their powers without an owner will cause a great disaster, right? And so I love this. I thought that that was great because like, you know, the Kwamis, like as much as they are like good most of the time, sometimes like they're still kind of like godlike in a way where they just do not give a shit, right? And I thought that that was great. And then we see like Tikki's almost like, people were saying it's almost like human form, right? And you sort of imagine this like goddess being with maybe kind of like, what are those old haircuts from the 1930s? Like the ones with those like kind of like the bang in the front, but then it's like really short, like to your chin hairstyle. That's how I kind of imagine her. And then obviously you can imagine like the fairy wings and like this beautiful dress. And like, she's just this like fairy goddess Kwami. Like, I wonder if we'll ever see that without it being covered up, because I think that that would actually be really cool to see, like almost Tikki's like true form. I think would be really fascinating, right? And so even like Hawkmoth's just like, what is happening over here? You know, like what is going on? And something that's interesting is we don't really see Adrian that much this episode. Like we see him a little bit, obviously right here he's like hiding in the sewer and everything, but like it's really about like Marinette and Tikki, which I actually really liked. Like I liked that they focused on them and their relationship a little bit and how their relationship has become, I don't know, I don't want to say it's become different, but like it was only them two at the beginning, and now Marinette has all of these other Kwamis to like give advice and, you know, be around and to, you know, use the powers of, right? And that doesn't really like come into play at all. Like Tikki's not jealous or anything, but it was something that I was thinking about, especially as Saz was like, do you really know Tikki? Because we know Tikki, right? Like they kind of give, I guess, another entry into Tikki's life that Marinette didn't really have before, or her life like as a Kwami in existence. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. And I love how Adrian is just like, what? Right? But see, this is what I mean. So this was the line that I was talking about, is that Tikki has gone crazy before. And so I wonder if like, you know, things that people have thought were like acts of wrath, if that makes sense, or like weird stuff going on in like history or like myth or something, were actually the Kwamis. Because I'm sure sometimes they were the holders. Like, we've already talked about how like Hercules was a miraculous holder and everything like that. But I wonder if like there could be the implication, like, say, I know that this is so random, but say like in the Bible when there's like the river of blood and everything, and like then there's the locust and like the swarm and like all the bad stuff happens in like the Moses story, right? Has anybody watched Prince of Egypt? That's the question. But anyway, like, could have that been a Kwami, right? Like, not necessarily a holder, but a Kwami. Could it have been Plague? Because Plague, actually, now that I mention it, Plague did cause like the sinking of Atlantis, not because he went crazy, but I guess by accident. So I wonder, like, you know, has any other Kwami gone crazy before and like caused something that would have been like in history? Because like, think about that chocolate mousse thing, right? I'm sure that people thought it was raining like blood or darkness, or that it was a bad omen or something, but I did really like you know, this part of the episode. Cat Noir, this episode was actually animated really nicely. Like, Cat Noir looks so cool right here. Oh my god, I'm gonna show you guys right now. But yeah, like, look at this. He just, look at this. He just looks so, like, he just looks so clean. I love all the little, like, galaxy in his outfit. I know that this outfit is also in, was it in Miraculous New York? I don't remember. I know it's in Shanghai for sure, but I haven't seen Shanghai yet because I've been so busy. And then, like, Tikki's like, that's fine. You know, Cat Noir, like, flew up into the galaxy to do that, but that's fine. I'll just make another one, right? And so it just does not get any better, you know, like, until the very end, right? Like, Sass was right, but why didn't you tell me anything, right? But that actually makes her stop and talk to Marinette. And what I think is really interesting is that she says, I was afraid you would think less of me. And so that's very interesting because, like, Tikki parallels to Marinette in a way. Like, you know, Marinette, like, at the beginning of the season, before she told Alia, she wanted to be strong. She didn't want to have to, like, you know, give someone else her burden, right? She didn't want to give Alia a burden by telling her that she is Ladybug and all of that stuff. And so I feel like that Tikki's almost the same. Like, Marinette wanted to present a front of being strong and being okay, but she wasn't okay. And now Tikki wanted to do that same thing, except now, like, you know, Marinette is the one, like, comforting her. Because Cat Noir actually says the same thing of Ladybug. Like, oh, I'm afraid that Ladybug, like, will think less of me, or, you know, like, thinks I'm this, or I'm not good enough for her, right? It's almost like Marinette thought that she wasn't good enough. Cat Noir thinks that he isn't good enough, and Tikki thought that she wasn't good enough. You know? Like, it's a little bit of that. It's hard to explain, but I think that that's a good way to put it. And I like this, though, because then Marinette's like, hey, you've helped me overcome so much. You don't need to be perfect all the time. But at the same time, Marinette could take that advice as well, which is why, like, it's just so good, which is what makes it so good, is that they're both like a parallel of each other. And so I wonder if that'll happen with Plague and Tikki as well, because something I was thinking about was, like, it's not that Cat Noir isn't a real part of Adrian's personality. It is. And I would say that, like, he thinks that Cat Noir is the more free part of himself. But what I would say, he exaggerates it, and he thinks that, like, you know, that's what the ladies want in a way, right? And stuff like that. Also, can we just talk about the mom's outfit for a minute? Oh my god, it is so good. Like, it's so, like, underrated, you know? It's just amazing. I love, like, the scales and the armor, and I love, like, oh, just how, like, powerful and, like, cool it is, and, like, it also looks, like, very fairy tale, because they're all fairy tale characters. Did anybody else notice that? Like, they aren't, but they kind of are. Like, he's the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk. The Befana is like, well, the Befana is supposed to be like an Italian, like, Christmas story. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm Italian, so we do celebrate the Befana coming. She is basically like Santa, but there's a whole, like, biblical thing. I won't tell you, but, like, she's basically like a witch, but they've made her a very, like, stereotypical witch right here, you know, like the green skin and everything. She's not that way in the story. She's just like an old lady, right? And then the bread, that's where things are kind of like that doesn't really, but, like, there's a fairy tale, I swear, where somebody's made out of food, right? I don't know what it is at the moment, but, like, you know, the bread thing, like, you got, like, it's on, like, the tip of my tongue. I'll probably remember later. It's not Humpty Dumpty. I'm thinking about something like that, though, where there's, like, a giant creature and they're made out of food. I don't know what it is. And so I wonder if the mom is also, like, a fairy tale character, but, like, maybe in a, like, an Eastern Eastern like myth or something, but like all of them are like kind of like fairy tale inspired. I just thought that that was cool, you know, like to have them all have like a unified sort of theme like that. But yeah, the bread thing is gonna drive me crazy. But yeah, there's lots of fairy tales that center around food for a bunch of different reasons. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so like Cat Noir is like the front, right? Like the exaggerated front that Adrian puts on to a degree, right? And so I wonder if Plagg and him will have a similar conversation where we'll see like a different side of Plagg, like we saw a different side of Tikki, and they'll have like a conversation about it. Like maybe we'll see a more serious side of Plagg where it's like, you know, Adrian, I just didn't want to be like, I'm the guy that makes everyone laugh all the time. Why am I so like sad or something? And then Adrian will be like, but Plagg, it's okay to be like real and vulnerable sometimes. Like maybe they'll have a conversation like that, and then Adrian will be more real and vulnerable, right? And so I really liked this scene, right? Like, you know, he's just like, how's your Kwami? Like, what have I seen today? I just love the look on his face, right? And she says, yes, it won't happen again. Like she's almost afraid of disappointing him, you know, like she's almost afraid too. And so I feel like that's the other thing, is that as much as Cat Noir thinks that like he's not good enough for Ladybug, she's also like concerned about like disappointing him, I think, in a way, and like letting everyone down as the hero, right? And I do like the conversation they have before this point where it's like, how did they get to this family again, right? Like what is happening with Hawkmoth and everything like that. And so I really like the Galette crown. I thought that that was so good, and I love this scene with both of them. Oh, and there's something else before I get to the crown part. I love how they changed it into no more evil doing for you, Big Butterfly. I thought that that was great because it's Big Butterfly because it's a more powerful Akuma, and then it's like Little Butterfly after she lets it go. I thought that that was really cool, and I just thought that this scene was so cute. Like, just look at them, like, will you be my queen? And she's just like, sure, right? You know, tradition is tradition. And so I thought that that was cute, and that could lead to maybe things like getting better between them, like than how we saw in Glaciator, of course, right? Because in Glaciator there was a lot of like oof, like there was a lot of that going on, and I like how she did that, because it's like that's the only time that she can be the queen, because she has to throw it up and like do the lucky charm, right? And so I love how she like, you know, took the time to have that like comedic moment with Cat Noir and kind of like, you know, I don't know, like make each other happy and be able to like be like friends for a minute in a way. I know that that sounds so weird, but you guys understand what I'm saying, right? Like she could have just thrown up the lucky charm right away, but she wore it for a minute and engaged with him in a joke, right? Instead. And then she threw it up afterwards. Like that's a little interesting detail, because in order for her to wear the crown, she couldn't have thrown it up yet. And so, you know, I thought that that was just like really cute, is that she didn't do her Miraculous Ladybug right away. She was Cat Noir's queen first. And I thought that that was really good. And so, yeah, the animation in this episode was just really good. I don't care. Not that I don't care. I don't care much about like, oh, will Marinette get the bike or whatever. Like that's not really the important part. I feel like the important part is really like the, you know, the relationship between like Tikki and Marinette and their friendship, you know, and like Tikki overcoming her, you know, spiraling out of control, or her cravings, right, as we're calling them. But the Galette your family created is exceptional, right? And so, yeah, like, you know, that's why I think that it answered its own question, is that's why Tikki, you know, has, I don't want to say become like this, but that's why, you know, she became like this, because she's the Kwami of creation, and it was a good creation, you know? And so, yeah, they apologize about like the bike argument, but I'm like, Marinette, like, you know, you rode it, like you drove a car, like, you know, like I think, you know, it's just a motorbike, you can have it. But like, I don't know, that's a good compromise for everyone, right? Is that she's like, maybe when I'm older, grandma, so I haven't discounted your present, but I want to be safe, so maybe for now, like a little scooter, right? Like it's like a little negotiation, I guess. And I guess this is implied to be the scooter that they gave her, and I thought that this was just a great little like end card type thingy. I'm also sorry for sounding a little congested, guys. I'm not feeling well, very well, if you guys could tell. Okay, so I'm just looking through and making sure that I got all of your questions, and I think I did, because all of you guys were asking about like Tikki and stuff. Do you think that we'll see Tikki's human form again? I think that given the fact that they teased it, I think that we're definitely gonna see it like fully eventually. I don't know when, but I think that we will see it again. I think that they were doing that as like a tease. what did I think of Tikki's human form? I also got that. And so yeah, we basically got everything. You guys just wanted to know really about why she was so obsessed. And I think that we were able to do that. So I hope that you guys enjoyed my little discussion. Thank you for attending Calxiyn's Royal Court today. Sorry for the little, like, you know, the scuffed discussion a little bit, and I see my model twitching, but you know, we work with what we got, especially because I am a little, oh my god, I am a little sick, so it just be like that sometimes. I hope that you guys enjoyed though, and I will see you next time. Bye!